Man, that's only one half of the cheers I can't help but notice. I like to imagine that all the Atlanta Academy fans are at home watching on Twitch.
They're cheering online.
In their rooms.
I can tell you right now,
yeah,
they're cheering online.
Cheering in the chat. I mean, surely, right? But at any rate, starting out the defenses, Atlanta Academy, they're looking to lean into the Bastion and Farah once again. There seems to be something both of these teams want to continue to run with. And, well, I think there's a well-relevant Mystic played on the offense.
So I think this is slightly unorthodox now going on to Volskaya. It's probably a lot more common, let's say, on Horizon Lunar Colony for sure, Eichenwalder for sure. On here, we've seen actually among the teams that have played this map, and they haven't really opted into Bastion, so this is a little bit new. And the other thing you have to really look at is how keen Element Mystic are to run the offensive Bastion, because that's the thing that most teams, even if you're good at Bastion, you're not quite sure about doing it offensively.
And you're needing Sparkle to win that duel against Sugar Free as well. And I'll be honest, Sparkle's good, but Sugar Free has started to get the upper hand of that duel in more recent memory.
And it hasn't felt that way at the beginning of Eichenwalder, but certainly towards the end, I mean, Sugar Free was holding his own, if nothing more. And now looking at this opening push, Element Mystic at least get that first rotation fairly clean as Sugar Free switches his attention.
Look at Sugar Free, already 50% ultimate charge.
It's what happens when you shoot on a rotating team.
And he knows exactly where Sparkle is as well. So he's been able to get shots down on the rotating Element Mystic as well as keep a bit of pressure on Sparkle!
Yep.
That's
happened again.
Though. It's going to be a res. He's going to get back in the air, but that is a critical pickup. Oh no, the res didn't come through. That's rough. We saw the revive beginning, but it obviously didn't complete. And now the rest of Atlanta Academy on the ground don't have that critical air support. Instead, it's Sparkle barraging from the skies. Element Mystic going to cap point A.
Looks like Sparkle's the one that had better air-to-air training here. Yeah, sure, Sugar Free lands more shots on the ground, gets that early 50%, but since then, going into 1v1, 14% for him. Sparkle's caught up now after getting that one kill.
Maybe that's what Atlanta Academy needed. They actually need Dogman for the dogfight. Who knows? And anyway...
Dogs can't fly planes.
Ah, right.
Just letting you know
No, Snoopy.
Dogmen, though? No, we'll see.
Yeah, Dogman is a completely different story, right? Men can fly planes. Snoopy shows that dogs can fly planes.
Speaking of flying,
not allowed.
Let's see if this rocket can fly further into Sparkle's face. One did get landed by Sugar Free, but so far, I mean, both these players at this duo is just kind of getting each other's attention. Now we get the round one. MCD
is actually first to the amplification matrix, but they're actually the ones taking more damage throughout it all. And Hawk, look at that overshield, but Saucy down, that's massive. Makes that pitch spread a lot harder, but Sugar Free looking to change the tides of that. Sparkle as well gets even more done. Element Mystic though low on members, and with Sugar Free still up and kicking. Kodak goes for a res to get Gator up on the ground, and Element Mystic, they have the further away respawn to Atlanta Academy. They lose Sugar Free.
Supercharger!
They've got the closer respawns, but they can't get members out. Where are the members?
Well, they're all stuck in Swarm for now. Sparkle's coming back on a Doomfist, but the second tick comes through. Doha still has tank form, and ATL are nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I guess who else is trying to come back on Doomfist and Sugar Free, but he won't even get to the point. That went pear-shaped very quickly there for Atlanta Academy.
All Doom, no Fist, sadly, for the side of Atlanta Academy in the final moments of that opening attack round. B claimed now for Element Mystic, pretty decent. Doha staying alive, getting resurrected as well. You could see where the priorities were for the Mercy players. Gator got rezzed for the side of Atlanta Academy. It was Doha that got rezzed for Element Mystic, foregoing the fact that Sparkle was still there somewhere. Doesn't matter. The one we want was, in fact, going to be Dohan. This was what Sparkle was capable of achieving on that off angle, like you mentioned.
So nicely done, really, by Sparkle. And I feel like the more we see the double Pharaohs coming out for these teams, the more we're going to need to talk about this arms race between Sugar Free and Sparkle, where just when it seems one really has the upper hand on the other, suddenly the other one just kicks it up a notch, goes,
I'll tell you what,
you want to play in my skies? This is how you're going to have to fly, boy.
I'll tell you what, man, I said in a previous series, I got a real sniffer for when it comes to 3 and 0s, but this ain't one of them. I also got a real good taste for when we get a banger of a series, and you better believe I'm smacking my lips right now.
Bangers and mash. Imagine I made a clever joke there. Is this a real Symmetra? I wonder if it is. There's still enough time to go back to spawn, but I don't think that's what's happening.
Nope, Symmetra's good here. I actually wanted to mention that because part of the strategy for defending is using the Symmetra to just teleport between different high grounds. Allows you to be very flexible, very mobile.
He's going to go for the swap.
Well, it was on the table. I did want to bring it up anyway because it is something that teams can and will do. The problem is Sparkle has to play it, and if he does play that, you lose the Pharah, and the Pharah is where Element Mystic can and have been getting an advantage.
That's the thing. Setting up the Bastion is all well and good, but if you give your opponent double the opportunities to deal with it by allowing Sugar Free to go uncontested, maybe it doesn't end up working out. And speaking of, despite that position they were able to get using the Symmetric Teleporter, Sugar Free's already helped dislodge them.
Well, that's actually a risky position for Element Mystic to start in anyway, because you can have that attacking Pharah just get the angle on you. Speaking of angles, we already have the first rotation. Both teams now going to be swapping up.
So Sparkle has now pulled ahead of Sugar Free in the ultimate charge, but you compare that to what Sugar Free did on his defense, it's still just that little bit better here. Sugar Free's getting more done, and now
both sides away
on the ground. Both Bastions just trading bullets right now. Funny Astro's Immortality Field's the first to go down, and with that, it's going to be Atlanta Academy in the line of fire. Open and exposed and unprotected. Sugar Free trying to at least take one back with him.
Oh, it can't.
Not going to happen. Sparkle's got him all over. And with that, Element Mystic will complete the first hold.
The ground war won by Element Mystic, the air support taken out by Element Mystic as well. They're winning on both fronts of this battlefield. And that's something that's quite concerning for Atlanta Academy, because where can you win? Where do you get these advantages from? You see Sugar Free there. He was committing some damage towards the opponent's Bastion, helping out his own Bastion set. Once realizing that wasn't going to work, decides to switch his attention over to Sparkle and dies anyway.
And we've seen it a few times now. Funny Astro's Immortality Field going down first with MCDs not even getting picked off at all. And as soon as that Immortality Field goes away, members die very fast when you've chosen to take that pitched battle. It's a very all or nothing approach.
We'll see how Atlanta Academy wants to make this approach now. Doha already set up, getting a lot of damage in there.
Just keep the firing lines there. Atlanta Academy don't fancy that spot.
Important to note, Immortality Field has been used by Element Mystic. Here comes the Amp Matrix.
That's got to be the opening at the very least. It forces Element Mystic to reposition. Boy. It's an ultimate that allows Atlanta Academy to at least get on the point. The question is now, what do they do with that? Nice back angle from Sugar Free. Going to rain the bullets in from behind, but now it's Element Mystic with that Immortality Field back up off cooldown and the Amplification Matrix. Rocket Barrage as well. All the chips down. Element Mystic walk away with the pot.
And it might look like there was a lot of ultimates used, but if you're Element Mystic, you gave away one tick already, you got to pay it back in return somehow. You also see Atlanta Academy, the fact that they had a bit of an angle to hide away from, because that's the play. If you don't have an Amp Matrix, if you're not willing to trade Amp Matrixes, you got to hide, you got to move weight. That's exactly what Element Mystic did when, it's exactly what Atlanta Academy rather did when Element Mystic were trying to get them where there's on. And as it happens, Sparkle gets the angle for the Rocket Barrage and makes sure that no one survives.
It is 1/3. That's something for Atlanta Academy. But they're still realistically in a position where the fight's going to be an all or nothing win, right? Either you beat Element Mystic into the dust, you get the full cap, or you don't and you get held. It's just now you'd be held having accrued 38.5%. And that's just not enough.
This is the moment where a lot of ultimates are available. Looking at Sugar Free here to make the difference with the Rocket Barrage, especially against the Bastion setup, but he needs to find Doha. He needs to find, more importantly, the angle on Doha.
Atlanta Academy were making a move towards the point, then Funny Astro lost the Immortality Field that's now cooldown. They just sort of have to wait for. They should have it back by now.
Heard that one.
They want to make that pitch, but there we go again. Sparkle's got the angle. He at least gets Saucy and the Immortality Field down. Now Doha has his own Amp Matrix. There's no good way for Atlanta Academy to continue approaching. They get a res onto Saucy, but I actually think they need to back off here and accept they can wait for the respawn, and they've still got a few seconds left.
This is so unfortunate. Atlanta Academy just need a bit more time now. Let's see what other resources we still have. Both Immortality Fields being used now.
I like where Atlanta Academy have placed theirs. It's much harder to take out this time, and you see that reflected in theirs lasting longer, but now that they've accomplished that, they actually need to get on the point, get the work done, maybe be able to get the second tick. Indeed they will, but the proof is in the pudding, so they actually win the fight. Point. Double Gravitic Flux coming out. Who's going to end up the worst for wear from it? Alpha's down, so that's answering that question in some capacity. Point got capped! EM weren't on it! Disaster strikes! Doesn't matter how many kills they get now. Element Mystic, they did not defend that adequately.
At the same time though, Element Mystic, look, they lost Alpha so early. He's got to be the one stepping on the point when it really matters. He tried to do that. He triggered the overtime. Afterwards though, he dies. Unfortunately, Atlanta Academy just had the better positioning at the end of the day. They used the tank form to really make Element Mystic hide, and after that, Doha never really had a good opportunity to set up.
Going for that same pitched battle again. Speaking of Doha setting up, he has to unset up, and now Sugar Free just in such a great position. Atlanta Academy again going to make that move on to the point. Doha goes down. That's big. Sugar Free. He's got a Rock Barrage. Ooh, needs to stay alive first though. and this is point percentage accrued for Atlanta Academy. Now they find Sparkle. I don't know if Element Mystic get on this one either. Unique's down. As soon as Alpha steps on, he's a dead man. He will at least get Funny Astro first, but he will die to Sugar Free's Rocket Barrage, and with that, Atlanta Academy have all the guns and all the power. 2 minutes is less than half of what Element Mystic had, but it keeps the time bank alive, and Atlanta Academy, having nearly got held out on A, can be pleased with still finishing the map, still keeping it competitive.
And it is incredible the amount of damage that gets done when your hull gets broken out by cannon fire at exactly the right place. It's exactly what happened on that A point. It looked like Element Mystic were going to be able to defend. It looked like the hold on A was going to be complete. We're going to walk into a 2-1 series in favor of EM, but that's not the case. Going into now the time bank here, still EM favored by quite a big margin. I might have to remind you of 444 versus 201.
Ooh, yeah. It's an uphill battle certainly for Atlanta Academy. So for Element Mystic, they've kind of done a good bit of the work. Now we just want to see if they can do it again, if they can get a convincing push on their offense, if they can also complete the hold on A this time against Atlanta Academy, where previously they could not. I mean, they should be confident enough in their offense to just finish out the map.
Speaking of confidence, both teams now just willing to run it back. They just want to play the exact same thing. Both sides are saying, ours is better. We know how to run this strat better. Yours is worse. And in this case, it's been a bit of a 50-50 case, because you look at Element Mystic, where I will give them a bit of an advantage here, is to say Sparkle has had better impact at shutting down Saucy and his Bastion at the right moments. And well, speaking of that, Atlanta Academy actually might look to swap.
I wonder if this is a scout, but they don't have a lot of time. I assume it is a scout, actually. Gator on the
but I mean, but Saucy starting on the Reaper tells me it's probably not a scout. Sugar Free is now looking to commit.
Yeah, Gator as well, like I said, on the Wrecking Ball means this is a strat.
To be fair, they don't have a lot of time. It takes Sebastian a long time to really get set up, and they know in 2 minutes, the best they can do is farm an EMP, dislodge the Bastion here, and maybe get a cap.
It's really just an all-in way of busting the bunker. They do still have to contest the Pharaoh, though, one way or another, and that's one thing they don't have with Sugar Free off the Pharaoh.
Oh, you have to get a sneaky hack or something there, but losing Funny Astro means no speed, no heal.
Hasn't really had those hacks yet either, unfortunately, and now both Hawk and Sugar Free under pressure. Unfortunately, Atlanta Academy didn't set up the wraparound they need, and now they're more than a little bit scattered. Saucy down as well, hemorrhaging members one by one.
It's going to take a long time. Sugar Free just has to back out so quickly. He gets spotted, instantly eats some damage, instantly has to translocate out. He's only on 37%, and a minute's gone.
That's the thing, it's half their time gone, and he's not at least half ultimate charge. This is behind pace for Atlanta Academy with using the EMP. Now Funny Astro down again. It looks like they're just going to commit anyway. Gator looks to go flying in, pile driver down, but no conversion in terms of kills. Sugar Free not farming enough ultimate again.
And I'll be honest here, this kind of positioning is still decent for Atlanta because they have a lot of angles to work with. That's why they're spreading their members so thinly out. You can see everyone is taking a different angle, and Doa doesn't quite know where to look. He's still getting a lot of damage because the tank form is available now. But Sugar Free, where you at?
The thing I'm also concerned about is Sparkle's got Rocket Barrage. Even if Sugar Free gets this EMP, he's got to catch the Bastion and the Farah. Element Mystic know that. They can just keep them separated, and someone's going to have an ultimate to use. Oh, Hawk down as he channels the Gravitic Flux. This is already off to a poor start, and the finish is going to be even poorer as Element Mystic, they get to use both of those ultimates. They don't need to separate people out. Sugar Free didn't even get that EMP available, let alone commit it, and this time they complete the full hold on point A.
And now, looking at the other side of this, a miracle hold is required for Atlanta Academy to at least claim a draw here and not allow the 2-1 lead to be given over to Element Mystic. But well played at the end of the day. They knew they had the time to work. And speaking of EM here, whereas the opposite is true, Atlanta knew they just had no time to work here. Did they even have an EMP by the end? I'm pretty sure they didn't.
70% was as high as Sugar Free got.
And that's the thing, keeping a lid on the enemy Sombra is so important. Element Mystic should be the masters of keeping lids on Sombras because they have the Sombra of all Sombras on their team. And Sparkle, knowing that Hawk was down, knowing that there wasn't going to be a kinetic grasp to just absorb all the damage, has a free rocket barrage and just gets the kills.
Now look, there is still a world where we exit Volskaya Industries tied 1-1, and that's if this goes to a draw. With the 444, you'd say Element Mystic should more or less have it in the bag, but stranger things have happened, and Atlanta Academy are a strong team. We did see on Icon Boulder, once they were able to draw a line in the sand, they burned down what was a lot of time off the clock. So if they can accomplish that again, then no one's at match point, and that is still a good result right now for Atlanta Academy.
I'll take either result because it's either EM in the lead if they deserve it, or we got an even better match on our hands with the caliber of these players. But 444 turns into 333, turns into 222, and 111-0-0-0 is what Atlanta Academy need.
Element Mystic, there is the world where it's just a one and done kind of push as well, and that would be the worst outcome for Atlanta Academy. If you don't get all the way to that 0-0, you do at least want to run that clock down somewhere to the 1 minute kind of category.
Doa back on the Bastion here. EM know they got time to play. EM know they have already taken this offense with this strat, and with more time available now in the regulation time, 44 extra seconds. You might even say Saucy already dislocated.
Sugar Free playing the same game as previously, but like you noticed, Saucy dislocated because Sparkle this time is getting even more done. And remember, they actually won that first push in regulation time anyway. Now they get to have Doha sit down with Atlanta Academy. This looks like Atlanta Academy's offense, not their defense. And now they just walk on to the point with Alpha. Atlanta Academy can't sit up, they can't sit tight. They've got to step on the point. They've got to stand in front of the guns of Doha.
Pixie, this is an odd angle. The Amp Matrix was just off. They didn't get to use it. That's a disaster.
And Gate is down. How do they keep contesting this point now? It is complete chaos and disarray. But in the chaos, Saucy finds a pick. They got the res on Gator as well. They're staying in it now. Sugar Free finds Hanbin. Doha down. Sparkle!
Oh my goodness!
Sugar Free still in. This is absolutely nuts. Atlanta Academy barely have the members to maintain a flimsy grasp on this point.
You better thank your lack of sugar intake for this available defense now.
What?
Atlanta Academy are just trying to hold on, but will they do so? MCD, the one-man army.
That's a solo Amp Matrix, because who's left? It was just Kodak. He's going for the res, and he won't get it. Oh my goodness gracious me. Element Mystic. What a firecracker of an attack that was. Absolutely chaotic kind of fight.
And that was so difficult. You saw Element Mystic there. They put down their Amp Matrix first. You see Atlanta Academy and they know what to do. Okay, do not commit into this one. You have Alpha solo contesting the point, then the angle to put down Atlanta's own amplification matrix was just slightly off from Saucy. You see him firing just out the edge of the corner. Unbelievable. Doesn't get the damage boost. It's a total heartbreak. And that was only the first push. Even if Atlanta have defended that, there's about 3 more pushes you have to go through.
And the thing I'm so impressed by is that Element Mystic pulled a complete rope-a-dope against Atlanta Academy in terms of the position. This is that solo one right at the end of this absolute insane fight. But the fact that they had reversed the positions, the fact that Element Mystic were positioned where the defender usually would be, put an extra layer of pressure on Atlanta Academy. And even in spite of that, Atlanta Academy nearly actually won that fight.
You can see once more, just looking at Brad, how things are going right now. It was 1-1 not that long ago, 2-1 now. I believe we can still make it 2-2.
Genuinely think that that could well be the case. I said, do we see a second draw? Well, if we do, it'll be happening in the next map, and that comes up right after this break. Well, okay then. Element Mystic, you've impressed me. I'll be fair, you'd actually already impressed me, but now I'd say doubly so, as it seems no one can quite stop this team, at least for the time being. Many teams have taken maps off Element Mystic, and you start to wonder, are Atlanta Academy just going to be another one of those teams, and not the one that actually beats them?
And I'll be honest, looking at Atlanta Academy now, I do believe they have the capability of pushing us to a map 5. In fact, I have an expectation I'll even raise the quota here to get us to a map 5. This is Atlanta Academy. This is, I would say, you know, by far the best team, the best non-Korean team here. There's more to show. But would you look at that, our first escort map of the day. It's the rare game mode that we don't get to see a lot of in this tournament.
Yeah, been a long time coming. We'll go ahead and take it over to Watchpoint Gibraltar. So again, this is Atlanta Academy's map pick, and I mean, this is where we've started to see a lot more of the variety in compositions out of these teams. It's not like we haven't seen Bastions or Pharahs earlier in the tournament, but both of these teams are so willing to throw themselves into these compositions very wholeheartedly. I wonder if we get to see similar things on Watchpoint Gibraltar.
And on this particular map as well, this is where Atlanta Academy take us to the one escort type actually that we haven't seen, because we have seen now a couple of the others, but Gibraltar's been kind of missing from that group, so do wonder what we've got in store. And if we watch any Overwatch League, I dare say it's going to be more Bastion, because you know, both teams are kind of hovered over that anyway, and this is one of those maps, right? I mean, we all saw exactly how Shark played this one. We all saw exactly what Architect and Rascal were capable of doing here. Well, now Element Mystic and Atlanta Academy, they want to do very much the same.
They fancy it, to be sure. Doha and Sparkle, Bastion, the Pharah, and honestly, in the head-to-head of this composition, I think we can now fairly say that, look, despite that particular hold on Eigenvalder that Atlanta Academy pulled off, Volskaya Industries kind of set the record straight as to who plays the better Bastion Pharah.
And we'll see if there's a Bastion Pharah, because most of this map is indoors as well, and well, that's probably a better position for the main to be in, but at least for the time being, Sparkle out on the Pharah, out in the open. Atlanta going to be making the rotations indoors. They do not have the Pharah this time around.
Woo, Kodak gets Chunk, has to back up just a touch now, looking to make that open ground sprint. Gives a little bit of warning to Sparkle there.
Element Mystic just respecting this one, moving back ever so slightly. Doha could be in trouble.
Oh, Slept as well. Surely they can finish it, but not quite. Gets to get back down into the Immortality field. Very critical there, but they have had to give up a bit of the positioning for Doha.
And the layering of the abilities as well. You see Harbin going with the Connect Grasp first. Sparkle's angle is so good.
Oh, right in front of them. It's a 2-for-1. This is a little bit awkward, though, because, yeah, it's numbers favoring Element Mystic right now, but Atlanta Academy actually have the closer respawn. This will very soon be a 6v5 without that res coming through from Unique, and now the payload can start. But what a Bionade! Immortality field, very clutch there.
This is falling apart for Element Mystic. There's so many things happening. Doha's being blocked out. Alpha's on the ground.
They can barely keep this guy functioning at this point, but somehow, through, you know, just pure elbow grease and leg work, they keep the Bastion in it. Bunny Astro again loses the Immortality field there as the Amplification Matrix is out, but the payload's been snuck under the nose of Element Mystic. This position doesn't matter, Doha. You need to get out of there, but are you kidding me? Saucy ends up under the guns of both DPSs from Element Mystic, and it feels like all that hard work is for now for Atlanta Academy.
But EM are going to have to move backwards out of this one. They've lost their high ground. The card is now in that car wash section. Atlanta Academy have a little bit of space to work with here as Saucy, you know, we see him back on that, the Bastion for a while. Element Mystic taking the far position now. We'll see what they can do with that.
And it's just another pitched battle. This is a very slow way to play Overwatch, though, if you're Atlanta Academy, and you saw them struggle time-wise to get through Volskaya Industries, where Element Mystic did not. So, again, slow down here on Watchpoint Gibraltar is a little alarming.
Big time, though, as well, because you see the main wall just completely stop Stoner from doing any damage. Saucy now going in with the tank bomb.
I like the reverse angle there for Sparkle to get rid of the supercharge. It does just make it a little bit harder for Atlanta Academy here. It's one less ultimate at their disposal with Saucy. Finding Sparkle, very nicely done. Unique was on that same angle, so he gets the raise, but Alpha down to the front side of the fight now. And as the Blizzard from Sugar Free comes out, Element Mystic can't play the ground game anymore. Sparkle, oh! He's still got Kodak, but that was nearly very, very
Who's
spicy.
contesting? The point is going to cap over.
So nuts here. Sparkle goes down to his own rocket, and Atlanta Academy just kind of walking through in the weirdest way possible.
I'll be honest, part of the weak spot for EM right now that Atlanta can definitely get an advantage on is actually Alpha, not because of him particularly as a player, but the fact that somebody needs to contest the card on this particular composition, and it's got to be Alpha. He's the main tanker, he's the Orisa, he's probably the best person to be doing that job. However, it means if the Element Mystic squad are in trouble, Alpha's probably going to go down because he's all alone.
And that is the difference between this and Volskaya Industries. But this Atlanta Academy can just kind of play the card in various ways, try and force Element Mystic into that position where they maybe have to leave Alpha high and dry just to stop card movement.
And let's see what Element Mystic can do in this far back position, because if you look at where the card is, it's very far forward now at Matrix used by ATL.
Ice Wall as well to just make the angle that much tougher. Doha gets slept, the Immortality Field is still up, and again they're having a hard time taking that out while Funny Astros is still up and running, but now it has run out the manual way. Unique down, Hawk finds Alpha as well, and there you have it. It happens again, continuing to keep the pressure on the cart as Element Mystic eventually have nothing left to go on.
And this is part of why you do want to run the May, and Sparkle's on that now, but it will be the B cap going through for Atlanta Academy in just a couple of short moments. You know it's going bad when Element Mystic put down the amplification matrix, and instantly they have to back off, and they can't even use the ultimate because the 5 for Saucy is just too much, and the bio nade from Kodak hits 3.
Doha having to reset himself there because of the spawn timings it's not major, but it is a bit rough because they lose an extra sort of layer of position for the Bastion. He's kind of got to sit right back.
And now that we're in the open space again, I'm looking for more from Sparkle, but he can't do that if Unique is dead. That is such a crucial pick because it's actually a 2-for-1. Sparkle might as well be dead in this case because he actually can't do much.
He was low as well. He had to back right out, has to wait for Unique to come back in. Can't raise yourself, buddy. And now they've just given Atlanta Academy more space, or rather Atlanta Academy have earned themselves more space.
You can see this position Sparkle has. He needs to try and wrap around the side of that building to get the damage in, but this is such a great place for Saucy to stand in as well because Sparkle cannot get in.
Look at Sugar Free down there, like almost alone in front of both Doha and Alpha, just keeping pressure on the front side and so confident that he's not going to die, that he can have Funny Astro at his back, especially Kodak as well, and now has the Blizzards that he can just lob down onto this advanced position. He's the one that they've had playing the card throughout this passage of play.
I'll tell you what, Saucy has been far more willing to use the tank form than Doha ever has been. He's using it now. They're going to push forward. Alpha's down again, and Doha needs to respond. Please do something.
Again, someone's got to play the payloads, and it ends up having to be Alpha so often, but this time around, Sparkle didn't get pressured out after Alpha goes down. That's something we've seen quite a lot of, either Sparkle or Doha following Alpha quite quickly. This time, Element Mystic still with the DPSs in play, were able to rebuff Atlanta Academy.
Now, one of the players I am still keeping my eyes on is actually Kodak, because he could be the X factor here. Yes, I know there's a May there, but an Ana is actually a really good counter to a Bastion as well. Because Element Mystic are playing Pharmacy, they don't have room to also put an Ana in the squad, so they are lacking in that particular piece of utility.
Looking to set up that same kind of pitched battle, bit of a different kettle of fish this time around. Atlanta Academy can't really just walk their way back up to that high ground. Nice yoink there, they don't quite find it. They find Unique though.
Oh my goodness, that's even better.
Yep, oh boy, it is. And now Sugar Free just wants to get right up in Alpha's space. They finish off Doha. Sparkle though! Bada boomba! Finds 4 with the rocket barrage. And suddenly Atlanta Academy are just stopped short again.
You know what? I lied. It wasn't better because Sparkle was still alive. But you gotta say, okay, usually Afara wouldn't be this able-bodied just going. I mean, he sacrifices his life, and I mean, 4-1, you'll take it any day of the week. Sparkle is able to use an ultimate single-handedly, saving that defense.
Tell you what, Bited trading, I'd take a 4-1. That is a hell of a ratio there for Sparkle. And Element Mystic still actually have a lot of ultimates to lean into on this defense. Now, twice Atlanta Academy have failed to win the pitched battle here.
And I'm concerned about the time remaining. Less than 1 minute now. You have to feel the pressure is on. EM just giving away a little bit of space as Atlanta are moving indoors. Here we go. Here come the supercharges.
Ball goes up first, they find Doha with that, nicely done, and Sparkle as well. This time Saucy's got the angles, and now they can drill down some members, get that supercharger off the table as well. They've made the space, and they have been walking the cart while this has been happening. Kodak and Funny Astro were more than willing to keep bouncing back to that cart to keep it pushing. Now Element Mystic staggering onto the point, looking to try and keep some members on here, but if they don't get kills, it won't matter. Doha will find none of the Doomfist, Sparkle neither, and Alpha can only stall for so long. That's going to be the cap coming over, not quite overtime, but only a few seconds remaining for Atlanta Academy.
And sometimes that's all it takes is to get that one nice May ice wall, putting Doha onto the high ground, away from safety, getting that kill in there. Immortality Field wasn't there to save him this time around, and Sparkle was also in a position where Saucy had the angle, he had the firing line, taking down both DPSs. Even though there's a Mercy there, even if you could get a res, the damage has been done there. Atlanta still have so much to work with. They have such an excellent angle, even on the respawning members. Nothing could be done there. Element Mystic, they lost their two biggest players, they lose the point.
I'm now reminded of Icon Boulder, right, where for Atlanta Academy it felt like at certain points a bit of a slog on the offense. In fact, on that map, they didn't even finish it. But actually the defense was good enough. Even when it was rough to begin with, they found a line in the sand and just never gave any more ground after that. I like to think they could do the same really anywhere on this map now, because they did also get the full cap.
And I'll tell you what, Bastion versus Bastion is a real grind. You have to slowly work your way up, especially if you are the attacking Bastion. You don't always have control of the card, and worse still, this Element Mystic, if they really lose control of this point, they may just have to swap to something else and go up against a Bastion without their own. And maybe for some teams, that's preferable, but for this particular matchup, both squads have very clearly said, we hear you loud and clear here, you want to play Bastion versus Bastion.
Yeah, they want to keep taking those pitched battles where both teams just kind of set up, throw down all those defensive abilities, try to keep the Bastion alive in the face of what the enemy throws into it. And look, for how much Element Mystic have sort of edged it out against Atlanta Academy, when Atlanta Academy, like we said, have found the ideal defense, they've then not lost that defense.
So on the attack now, Sparkle on the May. Both teams just kind of realizing, okay, ideal compositions here. You defend first, you have the open area, you play the fire. If you're the attacking team, you don't quite have that yet, you're playing the May.
Let's see how much Sugar Free can accomplish here. Sparkle got some very interesting angles on Atlanta Academy when they were pushing in, and Sugar Free already looking for some of the same. Nice one on MCD.
That's a kill.
One more rocket does it, sends it back to spawn, and now looks to get aggressive on the remaining members. They have to duck for cover here, and Sugar Free's just going to keep bouncing between these two doors, keeping rockets on Element Mystic.
And once again, the weak point of this attack is who has to contest the point itself. Usually it's Alpha, this time it's MCD. We'll see if this Ant Matrix can do the damage.
This is not the angle you are looking for. They can't get the shots onto Saucy. They do lose Gator. Sugar Free! Ooh! A little bit too eager there, my friend. And he had done some good work prior to that, so now suddenly it's a numbers advantage for Element Mystic, also with a closer respawn. Atlanta Academy know it. They've got to cede ground.
Icarus flew too close to the sun this time around, had his wings burned. Atlanta Academy forced back. As the card does start moving now for Element Mystic, and look, time is of the essence because you need to see EM finish the map here if they want to go to Time Bank. And as was mentioned, it's a real grind for Bastion versus Bastion, which means Element Mystic needs every second they can get.
Setting up now on the defense again is Atlanta Academy. Both teams essentially on low grounds here. Sugar Free, a little bit harder for him to find that off angle this time around, but he might have just found one on Alpha here who's kind of a sitting duck. Ooh, can't quite get that last rocket in.
It's a real tough job, man. Being the designated cart pusher there is not easy. Sugar Free will wake up. Rude awakening, if you will. Still alive for now.
Don't know if you quite caught that as well, but Hawk actually break the barrier in front of the sleeping Sugar Free there just to mitigate some of the damage from Doha, who otherwise had quite a clean line. But speaking of clean lines, Doha's got an open angle on Gator. Oh dear, that's not what Sugar Free wanted. Now Gator, the res to come in. Can they make this one happen, or are Element Mystic going to walk over wearing some human leather shoes for Crocodile Dandies?
Well, the problem is they lost Doha, and that's where their damage is. If they kept Doha alive, that would have been great. Humpin, he was awake this time. He actually caught the rocket barrage, but didn't save his best teammate.
Yeah, Gator's the one who wears the leather in this, I don't know, game. I'm talking about shoes again. But Element Mystic just kind of walked back in as it would be, and Doha doesn't even need the Bastion. We talked about what swapping off might mean for Element Mystic, but it seems to have not troubled them at all.
Doha should be looking to swap back now. I'm pretty certain he'll be hitting back. No, he's actually moved very far forward. All right, well, looks like they don't want to play Bastion anymore. Saucy in trouble, though. Saucy goes down, and maybe doesn't even matter.
Yeah, maybe Saucy doesn't want to play Bastion anymore either after that one. It's like, come on, just let me, please.
If there's one thing I learned about Saucy so far in the series is he's very, again, willing to use this tank form. So when he has the ultimate, he's got to come back. He's going to push in with this one.
Yep.
If you are going to play Reaper May now, you've completely given up on that part of the strategy. You see MCD as well swapping onto the Moira, so you know it's no more Bastion for them, despite having control of this card.
Atlanta Academy also, because of that death of Saucy, lose that advanced position. They have to kind of sit back, but Saucy's more than happy to take that one as Alpha goes down. Sparkle in deep trouble. Saucy may be frozen up. That's only temporary respite for Element Mystic, and as the cooldown period ends, the battle heats back up. You see Atlanta Academy taking the ground, forcing Element Mystic back.
It's a hard job for Doha as well as a
Nice
Reaper
try.
player, because on one hand, yeah, he's like, I'll keep Sugar Free busy, take the 1v1 versus the main, which he's confident he can win. However, if you're doing that, you're not able to get the damage in on Saucy, who is the guy you got to get down here. You see Spark, you see Alpha trying to get in Saucy's face, but neither of them can do the damage required.
Oh, unique! Someone's got to finish that off. Funny Astro's going to do the work for that. Nicely done. Supportal combat, the sleep from Kodak, the kill from Funny Astro.
And this is now just getting more and more difficult. You're starting to feel now Element Mystic don't have what it takes to approach. You're on top of the shuttle now. Look at this positioning. How are you meant to assault this one? How are you meant to attack onto it at all? Doha's got to try and teleport on at some stage, but what about the rest of the members? They got to climb up slowly.
Yeah, Sparkle wants to get up there, drop a Blizzard down, but how does he even get there? It's so hard to approach.
Look at this,
all
though.
of them.
Members from the floor.
They found Gator. That's a nice one to begin with, and they do actually get that Blizzard off. They're both Blizzards, in fact. Wacky trades left, right, and center. Saucy's got to get more done with the tank form, but it has now run out, and he is down and out for the count himself. Element Mystic barely regaining possession of the cart there, but it is so critical.
The bigger they are, the heavier the fall. Something like that Atlanta Academy. They had Gator and Hawk drop to the floor from that excellent hold to Saucy. Well, tank form away, but you're right, just didn't quite have enough damage to make the return trades happen. EM actually do manage to cap.
Can Atlanta Academy get out of this? This is really rough. You can't do anything about it. They kind of have to just take the fight if they aren't going to hard reset. They're going to commit in the supercharger. This is a numbers disadvantage though for Atlanta Academy. Big risk that is so far not paying off. All they've found is Alpha.
ATL, they just did not want to give up on that position they had. The forward spawns, and in this game you could consider it the bad spawn because Element Mystic are at your front door. And instead of just giving that one up, jumping off the map or something, Gator drops down the supercharger, and Atlanta Academy is saying, we just want to fight.
Sleep on Sparkle's interesting, and Element Mystic want to decide to commit regardless. Kodak does go down early though. At least got the nano boost off first, but who's going to deal with Doha? It's just nobody. He's going to absolutely dump on the rest of Atlanta Academy, and living through that, like you said, is just icing on the cake. Pun intended.
Yep, Sparkle taking down his opposition there, Sugar Free. It's been a lot about that 1v1, but it feels like now that we move past the fire, it's been more of a 6v6 affair now. Supercharger coming down for Alpha.
How is it Atlanta Academy keep finding themselves the aggressor, having to push into Element Mystic? Funny Astro dies, no one else can get there. Full push through. We'll go to time bank now with Element Mystic having a significant advantage.
And it does feel very similar to how Atlanta Academy got that initial cap on C in the first place, right? They had this huge string of kills, large player advantages. They had the angle firing into the spawn. In this case, Harbin on the Sigma was even using the kinetic grasp to deny any damage coming through from that left side spawn door. So Atlanta Academy just couldn't even leave. Nobody touched the card in time. And 2:42 to 1 minute. Yeah, we're looking at another stage where, just like in Volskaya, Element Mystic have more than double the time bank of Atlanta Academy.
And like, let's just remind everyone, I know it's there writ large at the top of the screens, but this is match point to Element Mystic, who again find themselves, like you said, in an advantageous position in the time bank. It's not quite as dramatic as the one on Volskaya Industries. It's still effectively more than double, but it's still only 2:42. 1 minute's enough to get a good push. 2:42 is defendable, but again, we still need to see Atlanta Academy faster on the offense, tighter on the defense.
And as a reminder as well, the loser of this goes up against Excel 2, and if it is going to be Atlanta Academy, they'll be forced into NA's side, where one of those two teams has to go home. And look, just dropping down the number of North American representatives still in this tournament. Element Mystic, though, they want to go to the winners final. They want to take out Runaway.
And is that not the most big brain strat for the Korean teams? You beat the NA teams by forcing them to beat
Pixie.
themselves.
It's not even a big brain strat. It just happens to be that way, and that's the best way about it. You just get to have it for free.
NA teams knocking each other out of the tournament is exactly what Korea are after here, but at any rate now, speaking of things that Korea are after, Element Mystic do have that victory very much in their sights.
So you're wondering why they're running Bastion again. They ran the Sombra instead of Volsky, because on this particular map and on Escort, if you control the card, you're flying Sparkle. Got to be very careful here. Sugar Free's on the hunt.
That was a critical sleep because, like I said, Sugar Free on the hunt means they'll pick up Sparkle, and it also meant Kodak survived. He was one rocket away from dead. Gets the catch on Unique in the flyby, and now Atlanta Academy can take precedence over the card itself. There's not a lot left to stop them. Doha cannot get good angles down here, especially not if he's asleep. Caught napping, and Alpha dead as well. Doha repositioning. This ground has to be given up.
Last time I said it when Atlanta Academy were attacking regulation time, but Kodak is the man to watch here. It's the Anna advantage on that attacking phase, and Unique's down again. You gotta believe Atlanta's capping now.
This has got to be the one. Element Mystic aren't even done resetting. They haven't even taken that next position, and Atlanta Academy are well and truly ready for this fight. Now Doha's got a really awkward tight angle onto the payload. Look at how much damage he takes. But Gator's down. They need it. They can't do anything much about it. They have to answer back. It's
overtime.
Alpha. There's got to be someone on the card at all times as well, while the rest of Atlanta Academy sit back. This is such a finely balanced position. Doha goes down Sparkle as well. Only took one with him with the Rocket Barrage. Numbers advantage for Atlanta Academy, and that willingness to use the tank form there again from Saucy. They'll be able to clean up the rest of these kills now. This is so critical. A minute is just enough time, and they're keeping it alive. They will get more distance.
And the goal there was to protect Hawk. He's the one member alive as the Sigma, the nano boost being put into him. Saucy coming through the tank form as well in assistance. Atlanta Academy had one job: make sure somebody is touching the card at all times, because the Bastion wants to be on the faraway firing angle. They can't be the ones contesting. If EM can just knock out the guys in the card, they will win. They will be able to stop the offense, but Atlanta is still moving. They're still in this.
This is where the Bastion gets a little bit wild for Atlanta Academy, because like you said, that situation with the overtime, now that's just the whole map. Nice Blizzard out to protect anyone trying to hang around the card on the side of Atlanta Academy, and they find Hanbin, Sparkle, and Alpha now. All quick, smart MCD likely to go down here at the end of this. So again, it's just more ground gained for Atlanta Academy.
And as a reminder, 1 minute is what they started on. They are doing so much, getting so much distance with just that. Doha now on the flank, on the upper flank, you could say, sees where the Bastion is. They gotta be able to contest properly. And it's not happening.
It's just more space given up, and now Doha doesn't actually have a good back angle anymore. He'll be too far away from the fight.
They know he's there.
Yeah,
I think Kodak
figured
sees
it
him.
out.
Yep, the Hulk went in there. They know he's there 100%. Doha now, it's kind of caught so far behind. EM trying to look for more angles to work with. The card is still pushing.
They've got to be careful about this stuff. Too many members commit to Doha, then Element Mystic can take the main trunk fight, but they finish off Doha, and now numbers advantage in the main fight. Not anymore with Kodak down, and Funny Astro, no immortality field means MCD with the Coalescence is going to allow Element Mystic to push in, but Atlanta Academy not going to give up this payload that easy. Saucy again with the tank.
Oh my god, they've done it!
It's up 2, 3! How far are they going to take this payload?
They're going to take it all the way, Matt. I think this is happening. Atlanta Academy have still got a lot to work with here. Funny Astro on the amplification matrix. EM are struggling. They've been fully reset here. Saucy will set up on the high ground again. Doha is still struggling to find an entry, and look at that. Even in overtime, if EM lose any members, it's going to take so long for the respawns to happen.
Please call me Mr. Carroll. Matt was my father's name, and well, Atlanta Academy going to show Element Mystic who their daddy is right now. Sugar Free down with the Blizzard again on the cart. Stops Element Mystic from playing on it, and that's what they need to do. They need to dislodge Atlanta Academy. If they continue to fail at that goal, Atlanta Academy are going to continue to get distance, and now there's not much distance left that is possible to gain. Funny Astro down.
Yeah.
Hawk, are you kidding me, man? Now suddenly double defensive ultimates for Element Mystic just to try and keep the remaining members alive. They find Saucy. That's critical, but Hawk is still doing work. Solo Sigma on the payload. Sparkle barely survives. This Blizzard's got to do it for Element Mystic if nothing else can.
It's desperation mode for EM. Doa's back out of the Doofus here. They may be able to trade effectively. They just need one-to-one trades, and they can rely on respawns. Atlanta are still in trouble. They need more members.
Element Mystic do finally gain themselves a numbers advantage, and with that, they can make the defense happen. The overtime will disappear. But that could not have come later for Element Mystic. That advantage in the time bank, the 242, is practically meaningless now.
Yep. I don't think it's going to get them all that distance. I mean, you saw Atlanta Academy do it, but that's rare. You don't see that very often or at all. The problem here is, despite Atlanta not actually finishing the map and pushing us to yet another time bank, the damage is done. But the distance, it's just there. It's simply insurmountable. I mean, for Element Mystic to be able to match that kind of distance, even with 2 minutes plus, they have to get so many fight wins in a row. Atlanta Academy have to make so many mistakes. Atlanta Academy have set themselves up to take us to map 5 now, and it would be a huge throw if they actually don't do that.
Yeah, to say the least, right? And look, we said this could go the full 5. In fact, we anticipated that it would. Will we get a second tie, a 2-for-2 in the middle of the series? And that's starting to look more and more like a reality with how Atlanta Academy turned it around. Like I said, quicker on the offense, tighter on the defense. They have satisfied the first condition of that, and they have so many opportunities now to satisfy the second.
So we see time again as well. Both these teams are so willing to play into each other with these compositions.
I love it.
Sparkle now back onto the May. And as a reminder, last time Element Mystic lost control of the card and lost control of using Bastion on the offense fairly quickly. As soon as we're going to be Reaper for Doha. But they have to get that distance. We're going to go through B. We have to get to C here. So Element Mystic need to hold on to the Bastion. If they lose the Bastion again, they're forced to change Reaper. I don't think they cap at all.
First rotation there from Element Mystic, looking to set up in that pitch position. Of course, nobody down as of yet. Sugar Free will continue to look for the off angles, and I feel like we've seen this so many times now because we've had both teams in this exact position. Hello!
That though, that's new. We haven't seen that one before. EM now, first push is not good.
And now they've kind of got to back out of here without being too exposed to Sugar Free, who, by the way, has already charged up a rocket barrage.
And that's difficult. That is difficult for EM to work against because you would like to have seen them do a very good rotation. Reminder, they killed Sugar Free last time in this exact place. They haven't managed to do that just yet, and Sugar Free is going to be able to stop a push on his lonesome.
It certainly feels that way. Element Mystic now have to keep tabs on him. Doubly so. They've already lost a good bit of time here.
Both teams using Immortality Field Unique actually use that Amp Matrix as well, so
right.
Where's that contest? Where is the win here? Saucy and the rest of ATL, well, I don't think this
hasn't accomplished anything. There's the barrage from behind! Just flicks the switch, sees that there is a brief window of opportunity, and shatters it.
And this time around, more like a vulture than a hawk, just waits for the right opportunity, sees the carcass of Element Mystic and cleans it all up. 4 kills, 5 if you include the one on himself. But the damage is there. Element Mystic reset completely.
You know,
what happened to that 1 minute advantage? It's gone.
I do count the kill on himself. Unfortunately, though, just slight little caveat is Kodak did die late in that fight, so they've actually got to wait a fair while for Sugar Free and Kodak. They're back in the mix now, but it means they've had to pull back to the second position.
There is still time for Element Mystic to make something of this. They are being given a bit of space to work with. As you can see, the car now pushing out from the underpass section, the car wash.
Sugar Free has no fear.
Speaking of getting washed.
Right in the face of MCD and Alpha in the main chunk of the fight going down as well to his counterpart. 1 minute, we said funny enough, half a minute ago, it's 30 seconds left. Now Element Mystic still waiting for respawns.
Now you have to look at how this went for Atlanta Academy attacking so much better. EM are struggling so much on this particular defense, and on this particular offense rather. You're just starting to lose hope that this could ever happen. This 1v1.
Woo! That's dangerous.
Maybe.
So on the low ground, that's got to be a kill, and an unreasonable one at that. So critical. He nearly had another rocket barrage charge up. Are you kidding me, Kodak? He found MCD. They actually turned that into a trade, and the rest of the team in the 5v5 is more ultimate. Atlanta happy to do that. The res. Kodak still got the res. They're not even on the cart. A draw in spectacular fashion from Atlanta Academy, and we are going to go the distance in this series.
Exactly, a draw in terms of 2-2 on the score lines now. I said it earlier, Pixie, Tastes like a banger. Exactly what we're getting today. All 5 maps. The best team from North America. Element Mystic, one of the most storied teams, one of the best teams from Korea as well. Your showdown champions from the Pacific region. And now going to match point map 5 against Atlanta.
Hey man, tastes like a banger, and now it smells like victory indeed for both of these teams. The scent is strong. On match points, both of them. Last time we went to Control, Element Mystic took it out, but Atlanta Academy feel like, especially in that overtime on Watch Point Gibraltar, they have leveled up.
This is getting interesting, man. 5 maps. I don't know who's going to win this one. Gator thinks it's going to be him. Sparkle thinks it's going to be the other side instead.
That was Gator showing what they did with the payload in overtime. Like, just that fast. It was like literally that fast. So now 2 and 2, it really feels like it's been that quick, but also so incredibly long. We'll see who closes it out. It has to go either way. No draws available in Control. Find out what happens after the break.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
hasn't it just been a day so far? We've had some incredible matches already, but all of them have, one way or another, resulted in a 3-0 scoreline. And for the first time today, we've bucked that trend and in spectacular fashion. Now tied up 2-for-2, match point either way between our first North American seed and our second Korean seed.
And we've had every single day a match has delivered. All 5 maps, sorting Group A, sorting Group B. Now we're starting to see it now. And our first day of the top 8, Legday Tower is going to be map number 5. And like we said earlier, somebody's got to win here.
One way or another, right? It's impossible to draw control as much as sometimes it feels like it could be. And I expect this to kind of be close, right? Busan was an interesting
It's been close all the way.
Yeah. Well, Busan was interesting, right? Because Mecha Base was quite back and forth, but Element Mystic kept edging it out. And then when we got to downtown, Element Mystic actually shut Atlanta Academy out.
So you're actually correct on this one because it was that one Busan map with both rounds. Notice we didn't go to 3 rounds. That was actually fairly Element Mystic favored. Once we started to get into the other maps, okay, Atlanta Academy really showed their chops, but going back onto a control map, even though it's not Busan, it's Legday Tower, what's going to happen?
Ready for battle.
I did wonder if Doha was going to bring back the Sombra because that was integral to Element Mystic's strategy on Busan to clean that map out 2-0, including the 100-0 shutout that we saw as well.
Yep.
So, Doha now hovering that Sombra again, waiting to confirm if this is going to be his real pick or not, but you'd like to imagine, based on how Busan went, it better be.
It's looking like it, and Atlanta Academy, yeah, sure, they didn't have to deal with it since then, but if they do know how to deal with it, they have to show us that now. Standard strats moving forward with the Symmetra, and Atlanta Academy are going to know that this is a Sombra pretty soon enough when they see the lack of Reaper.
Yeah, I mean, all the shields are out now, so Doha's going to be striking pretty soon, getting the hack off the Hawk.
Look at that, just kind of trying to dogpile onto Element Mystic while they thought they had a 65 on their hands, but unfortunately a little bit overextended there into Element Mystic, who just mopped Atlanta Academy up.
And his hack targets every single time. The man wants Hawk, the man just wants to get him down. And it's a big target to get down because you have to consider the shield is instantly removed. If you hack Gator, shield's still there. Hack Hawk, shield gone.
It is absolutely incredible how on point Doha is with that. And when he can't get Hawk those few times, he gets Sugar Free instead to just remove that mobility. Those are your 2 highest priority targets. In fact, everyone else is almost relatively hack-proof compared to those 2 Sparkle.
Yep, there it is.
Whoa dear, Sugar Free just can't match what Sparkle can do here, and you see that reflected in Sugar Free. Picked up already, Gator as well, down on the ground. Fight and Element Mystic, just, they look so unfazed here.
The timing could not have been more spot on there. Sugar Free hacked out by Doha. Sparkle does whatever he wants. Sugar Free just sitting there in spectator mode, just watching by as the rest of his team completely melts. And now the EMP is available. The melting has just begun.
Yeah, meanwhile, Doha and Sparkle, they got that directed camera angle. They're putting you straight in the middle of the action. So, with that being the case, now Atlanta Academy have to do something they've struggled to do thus far. That's push into an EMP.
Hawk's just so low already. Sparkle's a bit low himself, but looking at Doha, where he's going to come from. There still needs to be EMP.
It does come out, and it does catch all 6 as well, but without Sparkle, it's actually a little bit harder to follow up. That being said, they'll still make it work. They'll finish off Gator, they'll get Hawk as well, Bunny Astro, and no opportunity for defensive ultimates there. Element Mystic, slightly rockier, but still, on the whole, relatively clean.
And I am expecting Atlanta Academy to clap back now because the ultimates are coming online, all 6 of them, in fact. Helped by the fact that, okay, the 6-man EMP made sure that Atlanta Academy couldn't use ultimates, so in a bit of a silver lining, they managed to actually just save it all to win this next fight.
Hack on Sugar Free gets cancelled by him channeling that Meteor Strike because they also wanted to engage the fight anyway, but uh-oh, that's not what you wanted to see. Element Mystic just having better approaches.
I don't like this.
And now there's no way Sugar Free gets out. We said that, you know, advantage coming up for Atlanta Academy. Well, it also had to be. That was pretty much the final good fight. Now they're just going to be barreling to the point.
Remember when I said they had 6 ultimates? Well, they only got 2 now, and they have 2 seconds to make it back on the point. Doesn't look like it.
Getting here. In the nick of time. Saucy and Bunny Astro will touch, but now they've got to turn that into an actual fight.
Oh my goodness.
EMP is going to throw a big fat wrench in that works, and with that Atlanta Academy, I mean, there's just nothing they can do here. Correct me if I'm wrong, AVRL, but I'm pretty sure Element Mystic only had 1 death.
3.
All right.
But it's still very low. It's
I mean, that's still
extremely low.
nuts.
You want to know how many times?
Insane.
You want to know how many times Atlanta Academy died? 25.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 25 times. Element Mystic died 3 times. Doa, 0 deaths. Hanbin, 0 deaths. MCD, 0 deaths.
And this looks like the ace up the sleeve for Element Mystic. We asked after Busan, could Atlanta Academy deal with the Sombra if it came up again? And the answer has been a thorough no.
Let's check the stats again. 101 for time for ultimate earn now. He's gotten it faster by 9 seconds. 4.5 for EMP efficiency. That's been increased by 0.25. Helped by the fact that he got a 6-man EMP in there. You look at the other members, no one's even really that close to 1 minute. He's definitely within the top 6 among 12 players for getting that ultimate up there.
It's just nuts, and even when he doesn't have it, they're having a hard time shutting him down. Again, we've talked about his hacked targets and how much value he's got, but looks like the man himself is swapping off.
Oh, well, better give one over to Atlanta to get this one interesting, right?
Yeah.
Take us to round 3.
And I wonder if that's because of the May from Sugar Free. Maybe they considered that to be something of an answer to the Sombra. We'll have to see how they can now fare against the Doomfist. The answer, well, rather the Reaper, but hey, actually a very direct answer. Doha kills Sugar Free. Let's tick that one off the exam. We know how that one goes.
Let me give you a bit more of a detailed answer here. Because we are seeing Sugar Free on the May, or was on the May, back on the Doomfist now.
Can Hawk fly?
Reaper Doomfist plays into Reaper May so much better. So much more damage output potential. Doa can do so much free reign there. He doesn't really care about the May because if you get frozen up or nearly frozen up, you just Wraith form away. But now we've got a proper Doom Reaper mirror. This is where I expect Atlanta Academy to really strike back. Notice that Element Mystic won this round, they win the series.
If here, then where else? And even if they do win, you worry about the Sombra coming back out, but that's a different problem for a different map. Already 1 for 1 so far in the fight as Atlanta Academy take big chunks from Sparkle's Meteor Strike and soon getting themselves picked off. Not able to successfully retreat, and that's even with the Coalescence at their backs. All it did was delay the inevitable and throw one ultimate out that they aren't going to have for the next fight. Now 45% approaching for Element Mystic.
This is such a huge problem for Atlanta Academy. At this stage, it almost doesn't matter that they can win maps in the middle there. Hybrid, cool. Escort, cool. Assault, cool. But Control, if you're going to lose both of those, your chances of getting the series starts to get very, very low. Atlanta Academy, once again, working towards ultimates, and they're going to need them soon.
And it's the challenge we see so often when you drop the Control map and you then drag it back to the second Control map. You're already not favored, but they find Sparkle early. That is an inroad. They don't have the Supercharger anymore, but Element Mystic actually don't have anything else to work with. This is where we've got to see Sugar Free really come alive. Double Death Blossom! Only one either side as Sugar Free finds Doha. That's the numbers advantage now, and this Coalescence not quite keeping Element Mystic alive. So, not quite going to be double shutouts here for Element Mystic at least, and Atlanta Academy stands to gain a lot while they hold this point.
EM in this time are still just trying to hold on to what percentage they still can, 90% and counting. You know the best part about this, Doha gets to go back on the Sombra. Usually, in this time in the game, this deep into it, it'd be risky. If Atlanta had any more percentage here, you might not want to go on the Sombra just in case you can't farm an EMP on time. Guess what though? Element Mystic have one of the best Sombras in the entire world, and they have a 95% lead over Atlanta Academy.
You got to believe they'll at least get one, they'll get a good EMP, and then that'll be all she wrote, right? I mean, Atlanta Academy just have so much to do. Kodak hacked out already. Nice. Nearly. They also got rid of Alpha Supercharger, which is nice for them. Sparkle now getting aggressive. Smacks Hawk up against the wall. Alpha down in the counter trade though. Sugar Free's got to get some work done here. That's a near miss.
I felt the wind just fly past my face there. Atlanta Academy still holding on to this one. Alpha going wrecking ball now.
Nice Death Blossom finishes off Sparkle, and they've done a better job keeping a lid on Doha this time. Every time he comes sniffing around the sides, someone's been quick to chunk him out and force him out, which means for a lot of that Element Mystic, we're actually effectively fighting a 5 versus 6.
And Atlanta Academy can't just rely on rock, paper, scissors, compositional swaps. Now Sugar Free, 66% on his way to a Meteor Strike. Doesn't really want to have to go back to a May, and if you do that, Doa just goes to Reaper. So learn to be able to counter Doa. That's your best chance, and that is how Atlanta Academy can still win this.
And even then, there's still going to be that fight where the EMP is available for Doha. When does that happen?
Sooner rather than later. 72%, this guy just charged up so quickly. Okay, this time around, does get spotted out early. Only got about 4% there.
And there's the chunks again. Oh, speaking of chunks, Sugar Free! The Sugar Lump gonna get thrown out. That's not good.
That's a sweet, sweet kill from Doha now. EMP available. Hanbin's got the flux as well. He can feel the tingling of the combo.
EMP right out
Oh,
in the mix
Astro
of
got
things.
caught.
That's so brutal. They needed that sound barrier. 95% for Element Mystic. Doha, the absolute X factor on control. Funny Astro gets that ultimate out though. Sparkle, can they keep it alive? They've found Alpha out and Unique and MCD. Their ultimates have run out. Can Atlanta Academy get anything else done? Sugar Free back in the mix. Gets finished up by Doha for a second time. Hanbin grabbing Gator. It looks like they're going to get this, flipping at 95%. I do not see Atlanta Academy getting back on this point.
95% is just far too quick. Hawk even used the flux. What is he doing? That's not on the table now. Gator
That's
is just
it.
trying to come in.
Not at all.
Oh,
and
boy.
that is it. Element Mystic 2 for 2 on the control maps. Again, a close one and a shutout, but either way, Element Mystic have it in the bag. The Sombra is just more than what Atlanta Academy can handle.
And I can't believe that Doha ends up being the difference maker for this team. He was the one member that I had the most questions about for the Element Mystic roster. Now that we're in this part of the meta, is he still relevant? Do you still play him? You got a superstar hit scan called Pixie still riding on your bench here. He could be playing the Reaper. Why would you run Doha? This Pixie is why you would run Doha.
And I love having seen this team now from Pacific Showdown to here. I spoke about it back on Busan. Back during Pacific Showdown, we were in the Sombra Goats meta, and this was the one team that went, yeah, we'll play Doomfist as well. We'll add Doomfist to that, and no one could really deal with it. The Doomfist was the oddball DPS. Now we're in a Doomfist-oriented meta with the Reaper in there, and the Sombra is the oddball pick, but the thing that remains the same is that this team will play Sombra Doomfist, and they will beat you with it.
And my favorite part about this entire journey for Element Mystic is how many cards they held close to their chest in Group A. They had close calls in that group, man. Lost a map to XL2, lost 2 maps to Talon, and they did not show the Sombra. They did not barely show the Bastion strategies. They showed Sparkle's card. That was the one card they put on the table, but the hand is stacked, man. They just were not able to really be forced to show any more than that.
And now we cast our minds back to that series right at the top of the tournament against Talon, where they went to that 5th map, the control map, having lost the first one to Talon, and then ended up slam dunking them the second go around. It was in fact on Lijiang Tower. You wonder if they had been pressured a bit more by Talon, would we have actually seen the Sombra come out that bit earlier? And I dare say the answer would be yes, and if it had happened, Talon would have lost that anyway. Element Mystic are just that good.
And that's the problem, man. This team just had so much left in the bank. They just had that extra fuel tank. They're driving a monster truck or something. Just got so much gas there, so much petrol. Basically, it's just incredible because the narrative almost became, oh, Element Mystic looked like the weakest Korean team of the 3. Like, well, how did they come so close to Talon and XL2 and all that? Well, I mean, they chose to because without wanting to directly say it, but they were hiding their true power in Group A to reveal it against a team like Atlanta Academy. And now, unfortunately for them, they're dropping down against XL2. A team from NA has to knock out a team from NA. NA Dreams turn into NA Tears.
And I said, I've got that pen. Don't know if you can see it there. It reads salty. That's how NA's got to be feeling after staying up late for that one. And now they're going to have to sit and watch an interview with MCD from Element Mystic. We'll be going over to him to get his thoughts in just a few moments. But I think we need those few moments to get take a bit of a breather from that. It was so intense.
So many moments in this game as well. One of my favorite moments, obviously, was the Kodak versus MCD 1v1. Saw that a couple times.
So many.
Very exciting stuff.
Every 1v1 in every way, shape, and form was fascinating.